California Governor Gavin Newsom is widely considered a top contender to run for president in 2028. So now he's facing questions about a potential primary matchup against fellow California Democrat Kamala Harris.
Well, I'm San Francisco now. She's L.A. So we're a
little bit.
There's a little distance between the two of us. That's fate will determine that. And I've never gotten in the way of her ambition, ever. I haven't. And I don't imagine I would in the future.
Mark Thiessen's a Fox News contributor. Melissa DeRosa is a Democratic strategist, and it's great to have you here. Melissa, how do Democrats think about Kamala Harris's positioning here? Because her numbers aren't terrible.
I think at this point, the early polling is more about name ID than anything else. And so, yes, Kamala Harris pops in some of these polls, and so does Gavin Newsom. But I think that that's more about the platforms that the two of them hold, the fact that they're more well-known. But as we get closer, I imagine that support is going to erode.
Okay, he said fate several times, that answer. So what does Kismet tell you, Mr. Thiessen?
Kamala Harris is not going to be the Democratic nominee. She's never won a Democratic primary vote in her life. She is the most catastrophic combination of stupidity and radicalism I've seen. She couldn't put together a complete sentence. They wouldn't let her do interviews, and she was a disaster. She's the most disastrous Democratic nominee since Michael Dukakis. And the difference this time is going to be they're not going to hand it to her on a platter this time. She's actually going to have to go through a primary, and it's not just Newsom. It's going to be a lot of candidates throwing their hat into the race. Newsom may be the leading candidate, but he's also the most catastrophically incompetent governor in this country. I mean, think about this. They're going to campaign on affordability. What's unaffordable? $5 gas. That's really unaffordable. California has the highest median house prices, some of the highest median house prices in the country. Their taxes are the highest. I mean, electricity is the highest in the nation. So he's going to campaign on affordability? Really? California is one of the most affordable states. That's why 1.4 million people on his watch have left the state of California.
Not easy to be Governor U-Haul in this. Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, she was in Munich last weekend, and then this weekend she tried to explain her gaffe in Munich. Watch here on Instagram.
If you think that I don't understand foreign policy because out of hours of discourse about international affairs, I pause to think about one of the most sensitive geopolitical issues that currently exist on Earth, I'm afraid the issue's not my understanding, but rather the problem is perhaps you've gotten adjusted to a president that never thinks before he speaks.
Okay, so now she had called into the New York Times and tried to give an explanation there, and now she's got this one, what is she doing? I mean, I understand what she's doing. Is it working?
No, no, and no. And as a moderate Democrat, I can't tell you how much I'm enjoying this implosion. First, she herself decided to put herself on that stage in Munich, and she had to know she was going to face a lot of really difficult foreign policy questions, which she's never had to do before, right? She's like the perfect millennial TikTok representative of the extremist wing of the Democratic Party. So not only does she implode on the national stage, now she's clearly melting down that people are acknowledging that she imploded on the national stage.
And she's acknowledging it too by her repeated
it's
outreach to the New York Times.
Don't protest too much, like create a new news cycle, move forward. But this was just embarrassing on a whole new level.
So, Mark, it's been reported that she's lost her voice and she's whispering because her fiance was sleeping. Yeah. And if you listen to it, they suggest that he was the one snoring in the background. That's what's been reported. Yeah. This is like drunk dialing at midnight.
So does anyone look at that video and say, there goes a commander-in-chief?
Yeah.
I mean, it's absurd. And also, by the way, this wasn't a gotcha question. This is, this is, would you defend Taiwan? You're going to the Munich Security Conference to bolster your foreign policy credentials as a future possible commander-in-chief. And she's right, you have to think about the question, but you think about it before you go to the Munich Security Conference,
right.
Also,
not while you're on the stage.
Also, good to know where Venezuela is on a map, if you're going to talk about Venezuela.
The ultimate foreign policy gotcha question was when 43 was running for office, running the first time, and some reporter asked him who was the prime minister of Slovenia or something, and he didn't know, and then that was like huge and big news. This is actually established policy. Yes. Okay, there was also this, I don't think this is surprising that the Gaza issue cost Kamala votes in 2024. This is a pro-Palestinian group to Axios saying that the DNC shared with us their own data, also found that that policy was, in their words, a net negative in the 2024 election. I think That's kind of, isn't that taken as read? Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, look, I think there are a lot of things that cost Kamala Harris votes in 2024. As my friend over here rattled off a whole list, all the flip-flopping from fracking to she's now a gun owner to the border and everything in between. But look, never underestimate Democrats' ability to steal defeat from the jaws of victory. And when Michigan happened and the far left successfully did their Leave It Blank campaign, where 100,000 voters left it blank to send a message overall, you saw the Biden-Harris administration really lose their footing on the issue. And what that reads to everyday people is a lack of core. And what do you stand for? And you know the old saying, you'd rather be strong and wrong than weak and right. And so I think that when they got mushy on that issue, yes, they lost some people on the far left who just stayed home and thereby elected Donald Trump. But then also people wondered, what do you stand for? And they lost a lot of Jewish voters who were dealing with anti-Semitism that was playing out.
The autopsy's not public, right?
Correct.
It's still been held private. Just a quick answer on that. It reminds me of 2016 and Hillary Clinton and the TPP, Trans-Pacific Partnership, when they were all over Bernie Sanders, and I mean, that may have cost Hillary Clinton an election in 2016.
So Will Rogers famously said, there ain't nothing in the middle of the road but yellow lines and dead armadillos. She was a dead armadillo when it came to Gaza. You know, you're never going to go far enough to appease the anti-Semites. And so she spent so much time trying to appease the Hamas supporters that she alienated everybody else. And they were never going to be happy with her. And everybody looked at her and said she has no principles.
I think that we solved a lot right then. I'm feeling good about it. Thanks, guys. Great to see you.
Thank you, Mark. Thank you, Melissa.
Hey, Sean Hannity here. Hey, click here to subscribe to Fox News YouTube page and catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis. You will not get it anywhere else.